Welcome back to another video by Cam Room 5. In today's video, we are going to be continuing with some MCQ questions and we'll see if you're able to identify why the wrong answers are wrong also. So, propane undergoes substitution reactions when mixed with chlorine gas in the presence of ultraviolet light. Just reminding you guys that this reaction is called substitution. Which compound could be formed when propane and chlorine are mixed? So, propane means 3 carbons. Option A has 3 carbons, option B has only 2 carbons, you can see. So option B is wrong. Option C has 3 carbons, but option D again has 4 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So option D is also wrong. Now within option A and C we have to find out. When I look at option A, it has overall 3 hydrogens on the left, which is how it is. 3 hydrogens on the right. And instead of CH2, you can see there's a CCl2. That's okay, because hydrogen makes 1 bond and chlorine is replacing hydrogen, so that's totally okay. In option C, you can see that in the end, you have a CH3Cl. If you notice this, they're trying to show carbon making 5 bonds, which is wrong. So option A is the right answer. 4 processes are used during the purification of water. Use of carbon, desalination, chlorination, filtration. The purposes W, X, Y, Z for these processes are listed. Disinfection, so that's for chlorine. Removal of solids happen during filtration. Removal of dissolved salts, that's happening by desalination. And when you talk about removal of odors and tastes, that happens with carbon, or you can call it charcoal. So you have to find out. So W gets let's mix them. Let's find out. Option A, use of carbon, is Y. That's wrong. Option B, use of carbon, is Z. So that is true. Desalination is Y. Chlorination goes for W and X goes for filtration. So B for Burroughs is the right answer. Question 26. The table contains some facts about sulfur dioxide and sulfuric acid. I have written their chemical formulae also. Which row is correct? In the manufacture of sulfuric acid, sulfur reacts with oxygen to make sulfur trioxide. That's true. The equation for this reaction is 2 sulfurs plus oxygen. That's wrong. You can't make sulfur trioxide directly. Nickel is used as a catalyst. Wrong. Vanadium 5 oxide is the catalyst. Sulfuric acid is used in car batteries. That's true. This increases the efficiency of the petrol engine. Let's go for option D and still see. The use of low sulfur petrol is beneficial because it minimizes the formation of acid rain. Very true. Sulfur dioxide is acidic because it is the oxide of a non-metal. Option D makes more perfect sense. Question 20. These questions are not in the order, by the way. I hope you sniffed that out already. The energy profile diagram of a chemical reaction is shown. What is the value of the activation energy? So activation energy is from 150 till 250. So that is positive 100 kJ. Just helping you guys understand that what would be the enthalpy. So the enthalpy is from 150 till 50, which is negative 100. So negative 100 is the enthalpy. Moving on. Which sample contains the most atoms? 0.5 mole water. So 0.5 times 3, because each water is 3 atoms. So that's 1.5 mole of atoms. Option B, 1 mole of carbon dioxide. So 1 times 3, because each carbon dioxide also has 3 atoms. So 3.0 mole of atoms. Let's go for option C, 1 mole methane. So 1 times 5, each methane has 5 atoms. So 5 mole of atoms. And let's go for option D, 2 mole hydrogen chloride. So 2 times 2, because HCl has 2 atoms. That's going to be 4.0 mole of atoms. So C for Cato is the right answer. The equation shows the production of iron by the reduction of iron 3 oxide. 80 tons of iron 3 oxide produce 50 tons of iron. What's the percentage yield? You can see 1 iron 3 oxide makes double iron. What's the mass of 1 iron 3 oxide? The mass we have to calculate using the MR, like basically the MR. So we can say iron has a mass of 56, so 56 times 2 plus there are 3 oxygens. So it is 160 units of mass produce 2 iron. 2 iron means 56 times 2, which has to be 112. So 160 produces 112 gram iron. If you notice 80, which is half, it should be producing half, which is 56 gram iron. Gram or tons, whatever. So you should be getting 56 tons, but you are getting only 50 tons. So we take a percentage 50 over 56, and that gives us 89.2%. So D for doctor is the answer. Moving on. Which diagram correctly shows the conditions necessary for the rusting of iron and also the metal that can be used to prevent rusting by sacrificial protection? So option A does not have water missing, so A is wrong. In option B, again water is missing, so option B is also wrong. Option C and D have the conditions, but in option C you're using copper. Copper does not protect iron because copper is lower in the series. So D for doctor is the answer, not C. The diagram shows the relative mass and the relative charge of two particles, black dot and white dot, present in atoms and ions. The black dot has a charge of -1, so it is equal to electron because it has a charge of -1. The white dot has no charge, you can see, and it has a very high mass compared to the black dot, which was electron. So this is going to be neutron because it has no charge on it. Which of these particles are present in hydrogen atom and hydrogen ion? So hydrogen atom has only one electron and one proton. Hydrogen ion, which is H plus, has one proton only, no electron, no neutron. Let's see. Hydrogen atom has electron and neutron both, so that's wrong. B is also wrong. Let's go for C. It has the black dot, which is electron, and not white dot, which is neutron, so that makes sense. Hydrogen ion has neither, no neutron, no electron. So C for cat is the right answer. Let's do this one. A paper chromatography experiment is carried out to find the RF value for iron 3 aqueous ions. The result is shown. To make the spot containing Fe3 plus more visible, a paper is sprayed with aqueous sodium hydroxide. So the precipitate of iron 3 oxide forms, which looks like this. And you should remember it's a red brown color. Let's go for the options. Which row correctly completes gap 1 and 2? So gap 1 means how do we find the RF, which is solute front X divided by solvent front, which is Y. So X over Y. C and D are wrong, and the precipitate would be red brown because of iron 3 oxide. Aqueous sodium thiosulfate reacts with acid to make precipitates of sulfur. A student investigates the effect of temperature on the rate of this reaction. A student places a piece of paper with a cross on it below the reaction mixture, measures the time taken for the cross to no longer be seen, repeats the reaction at different temperatures. Which apparatus is needed for this investigation? You don't need a balance because there is no solid added. B is also wrong because you do not need a balance. C is wrong because no gas is collected. And finally you got for option D because thermometer measures temperature, stop clock measures time, and measuring cylinders measures the volume of acid. So D for doctor is the right answer. Which structure completes propyl methanoate? Propyl means the alcoholic part has 3 carbons, and methanoate means the acidic part has only 1 carbon. So let's find out. In option A, you have the acidic part which has 4 carbons, so that's wrong. In option B, your acidic part has only 1 carbon, so makes sense. The alcoholic part has 3 carbons, so that is totally what we were looking for. B is the right answer. In option C, your acidic part has 2 carbons, so that's wrong. In option D, the acidic part has 3 carbons, so that's again wrong. Let's move on. An experiment is carried out to measure the rate of reaction between magnesium and dilute hydrochloric acid under 2 different conditions. The mass of magnesium and the number of moles of hydrochloric acid are same in both experiments. Which statements could explain the difference between 1 and 2? Graph 1 results are obtained at a higher temperature. You can see 1 is faster, the gradient of 1 is more, the gradient of 2 is less. So 1 is actually faster. It means it's correct. Graph 1 results are obtained by using hydrochloric acid that is more concentrated. It could be done because when you're doing it more concentrated, you could reduce volume. And you have already seen the question that it says the moles are the same. So you're keeping the moles same, and that could be true. Graph 1 results are obtained using smaller pieces of magnesium. Smaller pieces also provide more surface area, which means it makes the reaction more faster. So A is correct. 3 decimeter cube of sulfur dioxide is reacted with 2 decimeter cube oxygen. Assuming the reaction goes to completion and that all gases are at room temperature and pressure, which volume of sulfur trioxide is formed? Now notice, 2 sulfur dioxides make 2 sulfur trioxides. So 3 dm cube sulfur dioxide will make 3 decimeter cube of trioxide. When you notice oxygen, 1 makes 2. So 2 decimeter cube will try to make 4 decimeter cube of trioxide. If you have to choose between 4 decimeter cube and 3 decimeter cube, obviously 3 decimeter cube is most likely because product depends on limiting reactant. So your answer should be 3 decimeter cube sulfur trioxide. A sample of magnesium hydroxide is made by adding in excess of aqueous sodium hydroxide to an aqueous solution containing 1.20 gram magnesium sulfate. The mass of magnesium hydroxide formed is 0.26 gram. What's the percentage yield? Now you can see 1 magnesium sulfate has 1 magnesium, right? So it is enough to make 1 magnesium hydroxide. What is the mass of magnesium sulfate? You need to find out the MR. Magnesium is 24, sulfur is 32, 4 oxygens are 64. So find out the mass. 24 plus 32 plus 64, which is 120. So 120 gram magnesium sulfate produces 1 magnesium hydroxide. What is the mass of magnesium hydroxide? It's 24 plus 17 times 2. So 34 plus 24, which is 58 gram magnesium hydroxide. In this question, they're talking about 1.20. So 1.20, which is 2 decimal places less, will produce 0.58. I just removed 2 decimal places. So instead of getting 0.58, I'm getting only 0.26. So 0.26 divided by 0.58. It should be almost 50-ish%. So 44.8%, which is C for cat, our right answer. I hope these questions are clear to you guys. In the next video, we'll try out more. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks.